What's up, guys? It's your favorite English teacher, or for others, maybe it's just your English teacher. And I'm here to go over this Quizlet set, the Romeo and Juliet Terms to Know set. If you want to guarantee your success during this Romeo and Juliet unit, knowing these terms will definitely help that and set you on the right path. If you go to my Quizlet page, David_Brown_PHS, you could find this set. I'll also link it on Canvas. And I'm not going to go through all these terms, but I want to highlight a couple of the words. Some of these you might know already. Some might be really easy to understand, but I'll give the sort of Cliff Notes version of some of these words. And obviously reach out to me if you want any clarity on any of these words. I also recommend that you play some of these games. There's like spelling games, writing games. You can do flashcards, learn. There's the test. I'm sorry, that was out of order. And that's really helpful to get to know the words too. All right, so there's 33 terms on this set, and they're pretty intentionally organized in terms of, I think, some of the words scaffold on or build from one to the other. And the first word here is a prologue. That's basically an introductory scene. We'll see a prologue to the story that sets the scene a bit. It gives us some background. Drama is just basically another term for theater. Tragedy is a type of play that typically has a sad ending that deals with the downfall of the main character. When we look at act, scene, and play, basically these three terms are used when we talk about how a play is divided. So there's the biggest unit, which is an act. That's subdivided into scenes, which is further subdivided into lines. So Romeo and Juliet, there are 5 acts. You know, a play is meant to be seen live. So when you would see a play live, after one act, the curtain would go down, and backstage they'd move some props around and reassemble, and then act 2 would come back when the curtain, lifts. A scene is basically during an act while they're moving things around and changing gears. Normally there might be like some prop movement or set pieces that are moved around so that we as the audience can suspend disbelief and we just assume, okay, it's a new time or it's a new setting. But it's not a new act. It's just basically, think of like an act maybe would be like a chapter in a sense, and a scene would be like a page or within a chapter when something goes somewhere else. You know, if you're at the ocean for the first part of the chapter, and then maybe later on the scene might change back to somebody's house or something. And the line, you can think of this in 2 ways. When you're reading the actual text itself, the text will be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, going however far it goes. And the lines are also just the individual pieces of dialogue, basically, that the characters have. Stage directions, you won't see a lot of those in Romeo and Juliet, but these are typically in brackets or they might be italicized, and it will say like, smiling or picking blank up. It'll basically say physically something about what the character's doing. An oxymoron is a literary device that William Shakespeare uses quite a bit. And so this is a word that within the word, there's 2 conflicting ideas, like bittersweet. We know that emotion when something's bittersweet, it's both good but bad at the same time. It makes sense. It's contradictory. You've probably heard jumbo shrimp or a dry lake or like a cold sweat, right? You think of you sweat when it's hot, not when it's cold, but a cold sweat is a real thing. Puns. William Shakespeare is very funny. He uses a lot of puns. That's just wordplay. We'll see plenty in the story. Here's this one: frog parking only, all others will be towed. Get it? Amphibians. Anyway, allusion. An allusion is basically a reference to something else. I always used to use in class the example of when you shoot a piece of trash into the can, you'd say Kobe. That's a really sad allusion now after Kobe Bryant passed away in a helicopter crash. But an allusion is basically a reference to something else. In the example here, Shakespeare makes an allusion to Cupid. He does uses lots of allusions biblically and also to mythology. A soliloquy is just a long speech delivered solo by a character on stage, and characters deliver soliloquies as a way for us to get insights into their heads. A monologue is a long speech, and I've got 10 seconds left. I'm going to get cut off from this recording. You can check out the rest. I can obviously give clarity for more if we need to. Bye.